Yashima. Good. So just start really with some whole body loosening. So just be in the vertical line. Really bouncing through. Paying particular attention to the lower body, especially the ankles and knees. Really try and loosen them up. Want to create a sense of bounce through the joints. With a sense of kind of lubricating the joint system. So just play with the feet being down in the ground. And just leaving the ground. Pressing through the feet. Good. And then to a frontal direction. And again, just really pay attention to the knees and the ankles. So really roll through them. Really explore the full mobility of the joints. So do this with like one foot down. You're just kind of swinging the foot one side of the body. Just make it sure it's a kind of a frontal movement. Try and avoid rotations for now. And also move the foot back. Really play with especially the knee, the ankle, toes. Good. And then to a lateral direction. And again, just really paying attention. Lower body. Ankles. Knee. There you go. Very good. No, so in this case, really play with kind of coming out of the feet as well. So leaving one foot on the ground. Right. Really swaying side to side. Also, in this case, really play with the body, mobilizing the body this way. So from the torso, the sense of kind of rolling the whole body through the foot. That's it. Yeah, good. Really exaggerate the movement out. Good. Okay, to rotations. So just playing with the rotation movements. The kind of classic one. Sinking to the ground.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, good to see you.
Me too.
Good. Good. And then again, just play with the feet kind of really rolling out of the ground now. So play with really transferring now into one foot. You can leave the ground with one foot. Just be careful in this case when you do these kind of movements, don't kind of twist into the ankle joint itself. So really keep the knee with a sense of flexibility. Just really twist out of the body. You can also play with these full rotations where you really rotate through the whole body. Rotate through the whole body this way. So starting to really lower into the ground. This is almost coming into a kind of full lunge position. Just as far as it's comfortable. Don't overdo anything yet.
Yet.
Keyword, yet. That's it. Good. That's it. Just really get a sense of rolling through the joint. Good. Last one. Just inside, outside. So now really rolling down. Coming through the joint system. Back and down. Nice. Okay, good. So we do some exercises specifically for the lower body, for the legs. We're going to the knees, the ankles. We're just going to put the hips up. What I want you to do first is just place the weight down. With the leg feeling like it's kind of dead, as if you kind of pick it up and it just kind of drops down. What I want you to do is just from the hip joint itself, just kind of press it forward and swing it out. So really keep the feeling the leg itself is very loose. So don't make it, in this case, rigid. We used to do this in football, kind of like this rigid. But really keep the leg flexible and fluid. So it's really going to swing out. Use the arms however you need to kind of maintain balance. Just keep the foot flexible. And the aim is really to feel into the hip. The movement's really coming from the ball joint of the hip. That's it. Yeah, good. That's here. Good. And then change sides. So really press the weight down. Just start to feel the hip move. Loose. And really start to kind of open the movement out. Good. That's it, man. Good. And then the next one, you're going to roll it out. So keeping the leg kind of flexible. Sometimes, again, we do like this movement. This movement. It's kind of similar, but much more with a feeling of just flicking the leg out. So just keep it kind of, you're going to now swing it forward. And then from the hip, just open it out. So this is a much more fluid exercise. This has a bit more control to it. In this case, just to really loosen the hip out. Kind of swing it a few times. And then really feel that the hip opens back and out. And just change sides each time. So just swing a few times. Really get a feeling the leg is loose. And then you're going to kind of swing it out. Swing it out. Use the balance and flick it out. All the time. Good. Okay, the same thing, you're going to kind of flick it out, and then I want you to start really moving kind of laterally. So this way. Again, sometimes you do like this way with the leg kind of fully extended. In this case, just keep it very loose. Keep the leg, the ankle, very loose. So you always have the feeling of being loose, like kind of gelatinous. Just want the motion to come from the hip. Just swing it across the body. That's it. And try and use the hands, however you need to. Oh, hello. Good. Just do a few each side and then change. Just try and get the feeling the legs loose. Swinging side to side. That's it. Good, good, good. That's super. Okay, good. Now specifically for the knees, you're just going to roll here, sink the weight into the ground. Really keep the feeling that the ankles, this is also mobilizing the ankles as well. Keep the feet in the ground. Start with kind of slow, small circles. Just really feel the joints. There should be no pain at all in this movement. So just rolling in circles. Really try and mobilize the whole, the ankle joint as well. So really slowly feel your way through the movement. Maximum contact in the sole of the foot. And just a few and then change direction. Good. That's it. Oh, okay, good. And then just for the foot, just start by with the foot down, just rolling it, and again, mobilize through the whole joint. You also play with the toes. As you roll over this way, the toes facing, curling the toes underneath and just rolling through them. So you can play with the toes kind of curled up or curled down. Just, you're just trying to lubricate the whole joint. The toes, the ball of the foot, the heel, the sides of the foot. Just really move through it. And then change in size, just the same. And then just with weight down, the foot up, just with the ankle off the ground. You can do this with drawing numbers or letters, but the idea is just to mobilize, again, the joint. So you can draw numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or you can do letters, A, B, C, D. Just really mobilize through the joint. Do a few and then change side. Or you can spell your name also. It's also good. Good. Okay, good. Very good. So we're going to start going down into the ground. This movement, we did this on the demi course workshop. You're going to sit. You're going to go from a hinge position here with the body like this, really stretching up through the back of the legs. If you can, keep the knees straight, fully extended. And then what you're going to do is reach into the ground with the hands. And then as much as you need to, release the knees to press the palms into the ground from here. Release the neck here. And then what I want you to do is just reach the ground with the knees this way. And I just want you to come to this position for now. So don't bring the knees to the ground yet, just off the ground. Come to this position and then just hinge back up. This position, the palms flat as you can. Backs of the knees this way and body up this way. We're just going to do this one 3 times. So I'm just going to hinge from the pelvis, raising the pelvis up and then stretching down. If you can keep the knees extended, reach the ground, and then flats of the palms on the ground. Head relax, and then just hinging the knees down towards the ground. Using the hands for support, just off the ground, as close as you can without touching. And then release it, hinge back. Straighten the legs and raise up the pelvis, through the pelvis. Yeah. Just one last time. So hinge down, the knees, and bring them towards the ground. And then fold back up. Okay, good. And now you're going to do this. Fold down, hinge, reach the ground. And then here, what I want you to do is fully reach the floor with the knees. Come to here, and then find the ground this way. And then you're going to use the hands as well as support from here. We just do again this 3 times. So hinging up onto the toes, reaching back into a full lunge. Come to this position so that the hands are light. And then what I want you to do is hinge up this way through the body. And then come back up like this. Okay? So you're going to do again 3 times. You hinge down, touch the ground, come all the way down, nice and slowly. Come to here, find the flats of the feet. Really take your time with this motion. Sit into the ground. Yeah, and then hinging forward. You can use the hands as support or not. It's up to you. From here, find the flats, find the toes, sorry. And then just use the hands in this case. Come up off the ground with the hips. And then hinging back. Do it one more time. Hinge down. Find the knees. Flats of the foot. Shift into it. And then come to that. You just raise up. That one. Good. Okay, 3 more. We do like hinge, come down, touch the ground, find the flat, shift into it, and then the hands come behind you like this. And I want you to do is stretch up through the legs this way. So reach the belly side and really bridging the back. this way, and then coming back and the same. On the ground. Hinging, and then coming to here. Yeah, we'll do this 3 times. So find the hinge, reach the ground, reaching the floor with the knees, finding the Seiza. Yeah, and bridging the body back. Stretch up through the calves. Bridge the body up. Back. Through the knees. Good. One more time. Good. Okay, good. So now you're going to do a similar thing. You're going to come up onto Seiza, this position you're just sitting. You're just going to raise the hips up, find the ground this way, and then I just want you to bring the left leg forward this way, and then just stand up. Yeah, and then you're going to do the reverse back. So you're going to, the right leg is going to reach the ground, find the knee, come to here, withdraw the foot, still on the toes, and then find the flats, and then come down. And just do this 3 times each side. Raising up, finding the toes, and really pressing from the hips down into the ground through this, and then stepping forward with the left foot, stepping up, reaching up, and then drawing the feet together. And then reaching back. Yeah. Still on the toes, find the flats, and down. Raise up, toes, step, bring the feet together. And then the same back. All the time trying to keep a kind of straight position with the spine. Not maximally straight and not rigid, but basically I want to keep the hips between the feet. So I want to keep the hips all the time in this base. As soon as my center goes over the base onto the knee, this is where the knee starts to bear the weight. So my knee is not designed to bear any real weight. It's just designed to hinge the joint. It would be like walking on your elbows all the time. So the actual knee, we call it knee walking, and it's not really knee walking. It's more walking on the backs of the feet. But what I'm not doing is really placing any real weight in the knee itself, because this is a bad position for the knee. It's not really a weight-bearing joint. So do the same on the right side. Just really taking care to maintain the base in the center. Yeah, so the base in the center of this position, and then coming through, still in the center, still in the center. Looking down. Real slow. 3 times each. Finding the ground. Stepping up and coming down.
Michael, are your knees together or are they a bit apart?
You're for the Seiza, for this position.
Yeah, the exercise that you're doing now.
In this case, there's a slight etiquette in terms of Japan. The women would sit like this. The women would sit with the knees together, and the men would sit with the legs apart like this. But in terms of martial arts, what we use is like 2 fists. It's about 2 fists between my knees in this case. What I'm looking for is like a triangle base. So I've got the feet flat on the ground. This is the first point of the base, and then I've got 2 points in the knees this way. So you've basically got a front-facing triangle. So this is the front of the triangle, and this is the back. So I want that kind of position. If I'm too narrow with the feet, this is where I'm not really stable. If I'm too wide, this is where I'm stable, but I'm too inflexible. This is a very hard position to move from. So I want just a position which it tends to be about 2 fists, between the knees, this way, like this, and the hands just kind of rest here on the thighs this way. Yeah.
And Michael, your feet, are they touching each other or are they just
You can see my feet, or maybe on this camera. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Hello. Okay, you can see. Oh, it's a bit jerky. So in this case, sometimes you'll see the feet are overlapped like this. Oh, yeah, you can see that.
Yes.
Sometimes the feet overlap. This is people with bad knees. They tend to overlap their knees because it's painful. Ideally, you want the feet to be just touching. Sometimes the toes overlap in this way, just there, but you want basically the feet to be flat and in the ground like this way. And sometimes you'll see, sometimes people with bad knees, they'll do like this because this is more comfortable for the legs, for the knees. So, but ideally you want this kind of position, and the position so that I can just raise the feet up that way. Whereas if I'm overlapped on them, this is kind of tricky to do. So I want a position where I can just hinge up the toe and then stand up that way. Yeah, this is a bit jerky.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, the knees are spread and the toes are just touching. That's it. Okay, good. And try this basically on the spot. So it's a little bit harder for the knees. You can use the hands if you need to. So in this case, you're kind of here. What I want you to do is just hinge down this way. Now what you're going to do is place one knee into the ground and the other stays up. So one knee comes down and then the other comes to meet it into this position here. And then you find again the flats of the feet. And then you basically do the same coming up. You come to here, this position, and then this leg comes up. This leg comes up this position. If you need to use the hands in this position, it can be quite tricky, especially if the knees are tight. So what I would do is just hinge down, find one knee to the ground this way, and the other knee just comes to meet it here. Again, find the ground, and then just start it all again. So hinge up, one leg comes back, and then I bring them up this way. And if you need to use the hands, just practice this now. Come to here, hinge in up, hinge up the back leg, come to here, and then hinge back up that way. Yeah, give it a try. That's it. Good.
Michael.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We have to do it in the both side or
Yeah, both.
like.
Yeah, just
Because,
do one side each time. Oh, and then change sides. Let's see.
okay.
So just alternate between the legs in this case. Alternate between the sides.
If as you know, there are rules in Aikido or Iaido to the left one or the right one.
Yeah, but in this case, yeah, just practice with both sides up. Yeah, you'll tend to do the left one first. This way. You'll see start with the hands. This way. But yeah, in this case, just practice both sides. Come with me. Okay, good. So Adrian mentioned this morning about bunny hops. So we did these animal walks on the workshop as well. So bunny hops tends to be one of the exercises.
Sorry.
Yeah. Tends to be one of the exercises people go to torture their own students into doing kneeling techniques. I'm not going to do it because one, I don't like them. So I don't do things I don't like. So we're going to do something else, which is what's known as a duck walk. So in this case, you can use the hands if you need to, but try and use the hands behind. In this case, you hinge the movements this way. So this is like a bunny hop. It's equally as effective, but it's less punishing on the joint. So what I want you to do is just this way. Oh, hello. The knees stay off the ground. So it's a bit like doing Seiza that you're used to. Just stay off the ground this way. This way. Take this really slow and just do forwards in this case. I don't want you to do big movements, so don't really think about walking, just think about moving. So you're just going to kind of shift the body this way. Do this very, very slow. Very slow. And again, I want to keep the base of the body, the center of the body in the base between the feet. So really, again, you can start by using the hands as kind of support. This is the easier way to do it. But I want to just really, again, mobilize the hips and the joints. And the key thing is that the knee is flexing without taking any weight. So use the hands if you need to. Just move around, kind of. Actually, the easier way is side to side, but if you can do forwards and backwards, but you've got a kind of handle on it, start to do the backwards. So drawing the hip out this way. And again, if you need to use the hands, if you can do it without, that's also good. Really good at quadriceps and for the balance. So this is duck walking in the animation. Good, good, good. Okay, good. And then the other one we'll do is not bunny hops would be like this, and without using the hands, so kind of this way, and without putting the hands in the ground. But we're gonna do like this. From here, I want you to really fully extend out, reach the hands, and then come forward. So it's a kind of a bunny hop, but I'm gonna do it slowly with the feet. So really here, and then coming out. And again, the key is just keep the base within keep the center of your mat within your base. You're gonna press out and press out and press out, and just use the hands as you need to. The key is just pressing out from the hips, bringing the feet forward. Pressing out from the hips, and bringing the feet forward. Yeah, and just really play with it. Do it really slowly, and again, nothing should hurt yet. This is like a frog jump rather than a bunny. This is a frog. That's it, good. Just forwards and backwards. That's it, very good. 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 That's it. Right, yeah, good. Very good. Okay, good. So we'll go to the Seiza. Oh, hello. So we go to Shikko. This is Shikko. So now it's just knee walking. So again, the key is that if you do this with the kids in the dojo, they'll walk like this. Like this. Or even worse, they walk like this. This way. And I don't want you to do this at all. This is really bad for the knees. So what I want you to do is really to the ground this way. So you're reaching the toes up. I want you to really walk through with the hip this way. And then the back leg and the back follow. So the first thing to go is the foot this way, and then the knee follows, and then this hinges this way. So you're really walking with the feet, and the knees just act really like as a secondary support, but they don't take the weight of the body at any point. So I know if my body mass goes over the hip and into the knee, I know this is where the weight is being transferred into the knee, into the patella, and this is what you don't want. You definitely don't want this. So really take your time with this. The foot and then the knee. The foot. And in this case, it's like the feet are tied together. So they move in this way. So one foot goes and the other then follows. So just take this really slow. And again, don't think about moving forward so much as just what you want to transition the weight to the other knee, to the other foot. So don't think so much about walking forward. Just think about shifting the weight. You're going to shift the weight, shift the foot. Take this super slow. This one. Just leave the hands where they are. Just sticking to forward. That's it. Good. And the slower the better in this case. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Live. Okay, just for this, there's one thing you want to also avoid in this case. Ooh, I'll see if I can show. This is like bobbing. Ba-bum, ba-bum. You don't want to kind of bob the body up and down. If you see the really great Japanese senseis do this movement, the best I've seen is Noro Sensei in France. I think he's incredible. Also, in the transition from sitting, kneeling, walking to standing is like silk. So what I want you to do is really keep the center of the body this way. So what I want you to do is do it without kind of bobbing the body up and down. This is a bit, just when you walk, you don't kind of bob up and down with the legs like this way. So when you do this, try and keep a kind of feeling that you just glide forward. So the knees are in flexion. This is not the best match. And I just want you to kind of glide through. So have the feeling of gliding on the ground. This way. Yeah, just a few more. Take it real slow. Good. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. Just take a little bit of a break. Just stand up through the legs. Just really shake them out. So the worst thing to do after doing no Suwariwaza for 3 months is to do too much Suwariwaza for an hour. It would be the worst idea. But we're going to continue. So take a little bit of a break with the knees. In this case, just take the leg up from the back. Just stretch it up. Good. Just place it down. Stretch it up. Sit down. In this case, just pulling the leg a little bit further back. That's it. And again. Good. Okay, stretching it out, back, and then to the side. That's it. And slowly down. To the back, and then to the side. Okay, good. So we go back to the ground. Split. Okay. Then the other thing that I need to do in walking is shuffling with the feet. So you look at the Suwariwaza work, the techniques. You've got two types of movements. You've got stepping movements, which is what you've just done, and shuffling movements, where I just shuffle the feet. Like in the taijutsu, you've got the same. You've got these sliding movements and you've got stepping movements. In the Suwariwaza, the thing work's really important that I know when to shuffle and when to step. So in this case, we're just going to work on from this position. You're going to come out to the side and shuffle the hips this way. This way. You can use the hands if you like. In this case, you're like this, flat on the ground, and then what you do is raise up and shuffle the hips this way. And I end up in this position with the feet up off the ground. So show from this way as well. So from here in this position, you're going to raise up the hips and shuffle the feet out. So raise up the hips and shuffle the feet out. You can do this either 3 times each side or change each side. But just get the feeling of the hips raising, the mass sliding out. And you finish in a feet up position. So from here, raising, sliding out, solid in the ground. In this case, this is a bit like going from a neutral position into a hand me. So in this case, you're coming in and now into a hand me position. So the side that you shuffle to is the side that I take the hand me to. In this case, if you go to the right side, like shuffling into a right side hammy this way. Yeah, give it a try. That's very good. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, good. That's good. And then you've got the movement. You're going to bring the hands into it now. So, here. Come down. In this case, the right hand's going to slide out and blend. The hand's going to slide out and blend. The right hand's going to come down and strike. So you can do the same movement, raising up and sliding to the side. This back hand strikes down this way, and this front hand is a rollout. This is exactly the same movement you do in a standing yokomenuchi. So blending to the side with the front hand, and the back hand strikes down this way. So just get this side. This blends and strikes down. Okay? So just do a few each side again. Slide out to the side and striking down this way. You're really going to hinge through the joint this way. This way. Solidly striking down this way. That's it. You go from a very neutral position, the hands at the side, just resting near the thighs, and then you spring up and slide in this way. You go from neutral, slide out this way. That's it. Good, good, good. That's it. Okay, good. We'll do a really different movement. So in this case, forget about the yokomen. You're going to now have a feeling like you're grabbed from the side this way. So what I want you to do in this case is slide the hand out and slide the body out. In this case, this hand is striking up. So in this case, this is like doing entry from Katata Dori. This is more of a hammy hand achi technique, but in terms of movement, what you're going to do in this case is slide this out, slide the body and strike up with the body this way, like this way. The same movement. Now you're here, you're going to roll out to the side, and strike up with the fist, and then come down. Roll up, slide in. This hand, in this case, is doing a similar movement. It's more of a slicing move to the side. So rather than blocking the impact, you're going to roll out the side this way. This is doing this, and the hand is striking up the head. That's good. Okay, and then we're going to do like this. You're going to slide out. In this case, the slide comes first, this, and then the back leg comes in and steps through. In this case, it steps through. And in this case, what I want to do is keep the back leg rear tight to the body, so it swings out this way. And then I fully rotate this way and back. This is the entry for that you were doing Kaitenage. But in this case, it's like a Irimi Tenkan. So you first slide out, and then I step through, enter with the foot. So the foot first, and then the knee follows. This way, and then it comes back this way. Let's give this a try. This is an Irimi Tenkan first with a shuffle. Shuffling out, and then step through the whole body. Rolling back this way. Yeah, give it a try. So this is shuffle, step, rotate, step back. That's it. good. Now we're going to add one more move to it. This is also to give you a bit of a break. When you do this move, you slide out, strike. Now from here, you step in, back leg, the knee comes to the ground. And in this case, what I don't do is raise this back knee up and then swing it back out. But the knee stays down, shuffles back. And then from here, the back leg, I want you to step in this way and then stand up through it. And just take a few steps out of it. Rest the legs. And then just come down into the Seiza again. So you first slide out, strike. You step through this way to the ground, swing the hip out this way. And then from here, take a big step with the back leg. And then through this way. This is for the step for the Kaitenagi. In this case, the step would come up and strike through the person's body. So the idea is to come from start in a kneeling position, go to the side, find the way underneath, and then really step through the person and stand up out of it. And then just really give yourself a few moments after it, just to rest the knees. That one. Okay, good. And then just give yourself a bit of a break. You're going to practice the same footwork, just from the Kaitenagi. So what I want you to do is take a posture here. You're going to slide out to the side here. Roll back, slide back, and then step through this way. So rolling out to the side, stepping through, roll back. Hopefully you feel a bit more, also more. It's the main purpose of practicing the Suwariwaza or Hami Handachi is to really ground the hips. It's to prevent it's to promote really good solid hip work. So this is the main thing. It's not really a torture device, and it's nothing to do with defending yourself while in a kneeling position. Not really. Really just used as a training tool. Just practice a few. Slide out. Step in. Really feel as if the knees, the lower body, the knees down is like submerged in the ground. So really feel that heavy rolling through the ground. Good. Nice, nice, nice. That's good. Okay. And now also watch this kind of bobbing. There's a tendency to kind of bob through the movement. So bobbing, you know the bobbing. Bobbing's like this. Dun, dun, with the body like whoa, 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 whoa. Try and keep a sense of the head, the body. Not that it remains on the same level, but I don't have a sense of doing this kind of through the movements. So roll through. Especially in this case, we have a tendency because you're going underneath the arm to duck underneath the arm, and then duck underneath the arm. But what I do in this case is just rise the arm through this way. So the hand is rising to make the movement, but I don't kind of bob and duck underneath this way. So the movement's done with full extension. Okay, give it a try. And that's it. Nice.
Yeah, that's good. Super. Okay, good. Just the booking. We're going to go back to the work just to finish. So,
in this case, you're gonna make like a yokomenuchi gokyo. So in this case, this is just with a rotation movement. So you've got the whole series ikkyo, nikyo, senkyo, yokyo, gokyo. In this case, into using the bokken. So just to show you without the bokken, you do the same movement we did before. You rise up, slide to the side. So where you're blending out and striking down with this hand. Now this hand reaches across and takes, and then what you do is pivot on the back. So this time, what you're practicing now is a rotation pivot this way. Yeah. So in this case, when you pivot the body, you've got this position, keep this knee down, and then I swing out the backside this way to the ground. So in this case, roll out side, you're going to pivot from this side. So this knee is now becomes the pivot point. I open the backside out, and then I roll through to the ground this way. So in terms of all the Suwariwaza work, the rotations and the hip work is very condensed, very tight. So try this. You can do this without the bokken or with. The bokken gives you just a bit more feedback. So in this case, start like this with the sword here. You roll out, strike on down onto the bokken this way. Now this hand's going to reach across and take this way. What I do now is pivot the whole body across and adjust the hand this way. This is onto the elbow, and then I roll down and press the bokken into the ground this way. Roll back out. So you can keep the bokken here or like this in front. The key thing is just to slide out and strike down this way. Up onto the toes, reach across and take. Take directly this way and then roll this out. So this arm rolls out, and at the same time this hand is going to find the elbow. Here, find a rotation. So you can use sides, rolling out, reach across, open it out, and then pivot from this knee. See?
that's it. Okay, good. Yeah, Serena, good. Good. Okay, just watch the transition from the hands. So in this case, you can also just practice the transition. You strike across, I reach across. Now the key thing is that, let's see, when I make this transition, that I don't reach across and bend the body out. I strike down, and the body's positioned so that I can reach the hand across this way. And then from here, I reach, take, and then this opens out. I basically move the bokken through the hand this way. So it's like this one's, it doesn't pull out, but it rolls across this way. You got this. It's like this hand just opens and then stays where it is this way. And from here, this cuts in. And then I find the movement here this way. I want to finish with the grip kind of shoulder width apart, just like in an Aikido. I don't be too wide with the arms like this, so I lose my power. I don't be too narrow with the arms, so I have no power. I want to be just kind of this way, strongly shoulder width apart. So just roll in, ooh, da, ba, 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 ba. This way, reach in, roll in, this way.
Thank you, Michael.
Go in. You can just practice the hand transition as well. It's tricky enough. So that. Really? Yeah.
Is this then the one? Is this the end product? Oh, my hand transition.
I love it. This is the end product.
You finish it. End product is I do that way. Yeah, so I finish basically in this case with this position, the hands pressing.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's also if we go to the full rotation now, in this thing about it being condensed. So in the standing version, when you do this movement, you come to here, roll out, and then you can really do a full rotation through to the back as far as you need. So this way, really opening the back hip out. Now, in terms of the Suwariwaza work, I need to keep the rotations quite tight. And I also, because the person's on the ground, I don't need to rotate with a bigger movement because the base is smaller. So in this case, and they have less mobility. So in this case, you roll out here. Now, if I make a bigger rotation as I do in the standing taijutsu work, then I lose the person in the rotation. So the rotation takes me out of my base. So just rotate as far as you need to maintain stability. Head him out here. It's more of a 90-degree technique than a full rotation. It's more like this. But if you think about the person's here, they've struck here. And then in order to take this person's balance, I don't need to rotate them out here. This is too far. All I need to do is take them here, this way. So you're actually rotating the person down. So if you're kind of stuck on the rotation, just imagine the person's here. And all I need to do to take the person's balance is draw them out here onto the front knee and down. But if I go too far, I take them back into the base and I lose my weight in my rotation, and then the person's free to move. So you can do with or without the bokken. Just keep it a bit tighter. So striking out. You're finishing about 90. It's about 90 degrees. So here. Good. And there's actually the older form for the Urawaza is to come straight back. So it's to roll out, strike, and then roll out this way. So you can actually do the technique this way as well. You roll out, strike. Yeah, and then it's like I draw the person back this way. So sometimes you'll see the Urawaza done like this. Certainly some of the older students of the sensei did. The Urawaza is more like drawing the person out. And then later it was changed a bit more to be rotating to the back. But only rotate as far as you can with your base. Don't come out with the base. Good. That's it. Okay. Okay, good. And then just to finish, give yourself a little bit of a break. You can do this from standing, so you do the same. Basically, now the bokken's in the front hand, right hand, left hand, right left. You're gonna roll out to the side, strike. Imagine you're drawing out, strike down. You make this transition here, roll out all the way to the back. And what I want you to do in the case of the standing work is continue it until you spiral into the ground. So you're gonna place one knee into the ground, press into it, and then find the ground here. In this case, stay on the toes. So don't go down into the Seiza, stay on the toes, and then just press yourself out of the ground. So the bokken's in the front hand, strike in, pull to the back, and then see if you can keep the rotation, find the ground, into it, and then press out of it. All the while trying to keep your base in the center of the body. So try and keep your center in your base. Don't go out of your base. So in this case, here, roll, pushing down, and then really continue the spiral all the way into the ground. That's it.
Michael, what did you say about putting one knee down? Do you put one knee down first and then the other?
Well, I do that. Sometimes people do this. Watch this. Sometimes people do this. And then this.
Oh, I see.
During this movement, you lose the extension of the arm, and I'm basically totally free. I just slam my arm back into the face because they're out of the ground. So in this case, if someone does this and brings both knees to the ground without me going down to the ground first, then they're out of balance. So I just press into them this way and throw them away. So in this case, what you need to do is press into the ground, and my feeling is to press the bokken into the ground this way. And in order to do that with balance, I need this foot down, and then I press the other knee into the ground this way. And then press into the ground, and then press the other knee down. And then you can come out of it. So my kind of priority in this case is to press weight into the ground, through the arm, through the bokken, this way. And if I do this, I lose the weight. So if I do that, the weight's gone, and I'm out of balance. So I come here, and it's this back knee. This comes in. The aim of this knee is to go into the armpit. This way, press down, and then find this way.
Okay, thank you.
By the weight of body, Michael.
Say it again, one more time.
Yes, we press by the weight of the body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the whole weight's been transferred through the sword into the ground. Yeah. Yeah. That's.
But then we make one knee, we can lose the balance of the weight. No.
No, if I do with both down into the knee, then I lose the balance. So what I need to do is keep one foot in the ground and press the other knee into it. This way.
Yes.
This way.
Okay.
Give it a try.
To be centered.
Like the very last few, just do this a bit more fluidly. So striking out, rolling down to the ground, and then pressing up and out. Just the last couple, just do them a bit more fluidly. So striking, rolling out, pressing into the ground. Until you press into the ground here at this point. This is the end. Boom. So my aim is really to go from this position to really fully pressing into the ground to control the person. So the feeling is to press them through the ground and not onto the ground. That's basically the feeling. Through the ground. Good. Okay, good. So the hope also in terms of the Suwariwaza and the Hami Handachi, they're not really about defending yourself from a low position. they teach you some kind of qualities in terms of being in a low position and moving freely. But the main practice or the main purpose of the Suwariwaza, in terms of my thinking, is that it's about building hip stability and flexibility in the hips, and a slightly more compact version, slightly more compacted hip work. Yeah, it's really about using the center work, because I don't really have a choice in the case of working on the ground. So we use it in terms of that, and not in terms of, there's a kind of story attached to it that it's about defending your feudal lord while he's on the ground and you need to be lower than him and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of bullshit, in other words, in my opinion. So what I want, when you do it, practice it. The purpose is really as a tool to practice hip stability. So in this case, just really practice as a kind of condensed version of the form. And the main thing is this, that I don't extend out of my base. If I do this in Suwariwaza, you will punish yourself a lot. So in this case, like being in these kind of positions where the knees are really taking the full weight of the body. I never want to be in that kind of position with the body. So in terms of the Suwariwaza, whatever the technique you do, really think in terms of the base of the body and the weight being between the feet and the knees, but never fully into the knees. This is where you get really bad injuries with the knees, and you don't want it. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? No.
I have a question, Michael, if I can.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I was originally taught that handwork on Uki's arm would be Ikkyo.
Yeah.
And that handwork with the end hand would be Gokyo.
Yeah.
But things here seem to be slightly different.
In the sense, if I'm to do the Ikkyo in this one, I slide across this way. So I slide across and then I transfer the grip this way. So I'm in the classic Ikkyo position this way. You see that?
Okay.
In this case, well, you're in Gokyo because I basically, I mean, you think Gokyo is really also just designed for knife defense. I'm blocking the hand and then I'm taking the hand directly. Yeah, so the difference between the Ikkyo and the Gokyo for the Yokomanuchi work, this way is in the Ikkyo reaches across this way, cuts underneath the arm, and then I transition this way. And for the Gokyo, I'm in this position, this hand's also extended, and then I just reach across directly this way. Yeah, and the Gokyo is only done in Urawaza. It's not done in a mote form. There was an older emote form, but it's a weak technique, and it got taken out of the syllabus because I think it's too weak. So in terms of doing the Gokyo, this is a kind of a weaker technique. So it's always practiced. Gokyo is always practiced. In this case, in an Urawaza, and the hands in that position, and that's for your Ikkyo. So yeah, that's Gokyo, and then that's your Ikkyo.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, super. Good. Cool. On our knees. Hey. Domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Right. Good. Thank you very much. Hopefully not too painful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.